One of the most common comments I get on my baking videos, especially my bread videos, is that the dough is either too wet or too dry. And that typically comes down to how the flour has been measured. By measuring your flour in cups, you can't guarantee accurate results every time. When flour is packed, it's stuffed into these tiny little bags so that it's smaller and easier to transport. That doesn't mean it's the best way to store it or to scoop out of it for baking. I always suggest pouring your flour into a large vessel with an open top with a nice sealable lid. That allows you to fluff up your flour before you measure it. Now that method doesn't always work, and let me show you why. Let's start by whisking up our flour. This helps to aerate the flour and remove any clumpy condensed bits. That will really help in terms of lessening the flour in your measuring cup. But is it accurate? Here I have two 1-cup measuring cups and 1/2 cup measuring cup, so I can show you the difference between all of my cups. They are not all made equal. The suggested method when weighing your flour by cups is to use a large spoon, dip it into your aerated flour, and gently float it into your cup. You don't want any compact flour in that cup. Now a cup of flour is meant to weigh out at 125 grams or 4¼ ounces. And I'm sure most of us learned to take the back of a knife and scrape it off so that you don't have any excess flour over the top. Now let's weigh this cup of flour and see just how much flour is in this cup. That's an extra 13 grams of flour. I know it doesn't seem a lot, but if you're adding 2 or 3 cups to a recipe, it really does add up. Let's try my other measuring cup. For the sake of consistency, I'm going to re-whisk it. This cup comes from a very reputable food brand. It's not a novelty cup like my cat cup. 151 grams. That's an extra 26 grams of flour. That's definitely going to dry out your dough. Now this is only a 1/2 cup, so I'm going to do it twice. You can see my technique hasn't changed between any of the cups. And this one's come out to 118 grams. So short on what we're actually looking for. That's 3 different measuring cups with 3 very different results. No wonder your bakes aren't turning out perfectly every time. Now let me show you what happens if you don't whisk up and fluff up your flour before measuring. So let's go in with our more reputable measuring cup, scoop it down into the flour, and just like normal, we're gonna scrape off the top. That 150 grams has now turned into over 180 grams. That's a huge amount of extra flour. My solution? Get yourself a kitchen scale. They're not expensive. This one cost me about 9 pounds. It works out to like 11 or 12 US dollars, and it really will make your bakes that much better. And if you're still averse to buying a set of scales, look, I understand. You don't always want to have something in your kitchen that you're only going to use once or twice. But at least follow the methods of whisking up your flour and gently floating it into your cup the way that I've just showed you. It won't be completely accurate, but it will certainly be more accurate than dipping in and pulling up that compacted flour. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and do let me know down in the comments about your baking quandaries. I'm happy to help in whatever way I can. And if you're new to baking bread and you want to try a recipe that's pretty easy and turns out pretty great every time, you have to try my Irish soda bread. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.